What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. And today we are going to be building some farms. And I've also done a little bit of work. Not as much work as I promised you at the end of the last episode, but it's been hard. I don't know. Interior is something I'm not good at, and it's something I want to get better at. But man, oh man, is it kind of a struggle. I did have more than this done, but I tore it all down because I started to replace the inner wall that was originally gray concrete with this stripped jungle logs, which I actually like a lot more. I think the colors flow pretty well and go with the palette I already have picked. I honestly might I also have this stuff under the stairs. I don't know if that was there last episode, but I did put that. I don't know how I feel about the moss or the mud bricks now, because I don't want to go with too many blocks and have too many colors, because I think it's best if you keep it simple, like pick a smaller palette and work with that instead of having, a super large palette with a ton of different colors that you can work with, because then, it might be too much, or at least for me, as I'm starting out and trying to further my skill with it, I want to do smaller palettes, really force me to use just those blocks and get better with them. And then maybe as I get better, I can introduce more. But yeah, I put a little enchanting table over here in the corner. I had to sneak two bookcases behind the chests right here, which will probably hold a ton of books like at my Enderman farm. And then I also have a shulker box with a few diamonds, some books, just so if I need to enchant tools or whatnot, I have it. But yeah, I think it's coming along well. I snuck some weathered copper up there, and I also, man, none of this copper was turning as I was like AFKing here for a little bit. So I turned the old, not the old, but the other monument base into a copper farm, as you guys can see down there. And actually, we can just go down. Um, yeah, so that's where I've been turning all of my copper, which is, it works really fast. I mean, compared to the AFKing, like I have probably over a stack and a half of it down here that's completely turned, uh, and the stuff up there that was in the Guardian farm didn't turn at all. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, spacing them 5 blocks apart, which I think is the optimal way, except I didn't put any in the middle of the portal. I don't know. I just placed them down, and I didn't want to like break this line. Let me see. I think I also did work on expanding the glass perimeter. So that is more done. There's a smaller chunk left to do, which it's getting close, guys. What's stopping me is I don't have a super consistent like source of fuel yet. I'm just using all of the coal I find. I've been putting it up there in that furnace array, and when it's gone, it's gone. And so I'm trying to keep a buffer. I have a few shulker boxes of glass left. I could definitely get this mostly done, but I'm gonna need glass for the farms I'm gonna make today, so I don't want to use that stuff. And as you probably saw in the beginning of this episode, I did go to the wither farm. I got a lot of wither skulls, and I killed quite a few withers. I think like 13 to be exact, because I have a plan, a vision, one might say, of putting beacons all around in the I don't even know what to call this. I guess the monument base, the big circle up here, because I want to have like a constant source of like speed and haste at least, and maybe regen too. Um, but I also don't know how to look with a ton of beacon beams just all over the place. So I have this central one now, and I might add more in later. We're gonna have to wait and see. Working on, I wasn't gonna make it like a base, so to speak. I was just gonna start making farms down here, not even make them pretty, because they'd be hidden underground, and I'd move all the items up. But as I was digging this out, I actually got the idea, because that furnace array that you see up above, that's in the middle, that's floating, needs to come down. I need to tear it out. And so what I'm thinking is I'm gonna have today we're gonna be making a kelp, bamboo, and moss farm at least, maybe two others. We're gonna see how far we get. But what I'm thinking is, since I'm gonna have the kelp and the bamboo down here, in the future the bamboo is gonna turn into like an auto crafting wood supply of planks and any other wood product like chests and maybe others. I'm blanking on them, but it's also going to be a backup fuel source. The main fuel source is going to be the kelp, which also needs auto crafting, but for now I can manually craft it. It's not too bad. Um, yeah, and I'm thinking I'm putting a furnace array right in this rectangle here, and then having the kelp farm run down here along this wall. That way it's just it gets broken, it just goes in a straight line right into the furnace array. And I can mine like 4 blocks high this way, but I can't mine the blocks up there because it's gonna start cutting into the grass above it. Some of the grass dips below, and so I gotta leave at least like a 2 block buffer, um, in case a creeper blows up there, or I want to do something on the surface, which is fine. The furnace array should not take like more than 4 blocks in height, maybe 5 blocks for some hopper minecarts on top of it. But yeah, I'm thinking of actually making a little base down here with the furnace array, and who knows what else we'll put. Maybe we'll actually put the storage area down below down here, and this will kind of be my home base because that sounds kind of cool instead of it being the other ocean monument. And I do have plans for that ocean monument right now, since it was gonna be my base and now we're changing it. I'm thinking it's gonna be the villager trading hall. That would be kind of cool, and possibly some squid farms. But you'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so let me get started. I gotta gather some materials for these farms. I don't know how exactly I'm gonna do them. Like, do I want to do a flying machine or just do a detector with some pistons that will just come out and break them? So I'm gonna do some research, see what like efficient designs there are out there and what I want to go with, and we'll get building. Okay, I may have gone a little overboard with this bamboo farm. It was the first one I built, and as I started to just get into building it, I kept expanding it, and now it's way bigger than I first imagined and produces so much bamboo. It's actually kind of crazy. Uh, yeah, so here it is. It goes the entire length of one of these sides, and you can see I've started to kind of put the furnace array in front of it, but we'll touch on that a little bit more later. But yeah, so here is the bamboo farm. It's not crazy tall, but my plan with it is to run a hopper clock that sends the flying machine back and forth pretty frequently, so it doesn't matter if it's tall or not. Hold on, let me find it. I think it's on this side. Is it? Oh, I have to get behind the furnaces. Yeah, what sucks, I put glass here so we could look into it, and then I covered the first half of it with a furnace array. But that's okay. Okay, yeah, so there's the flying machine, and currently I have these note blocks with observers in front of them hooked up to a monostable circuit that just activates the trap door. If you can see the iron trap door in that block right there, that's what's hovering over an observer. And so as soon as I flick this, you see the trapdoor flick, and then it sent the flying machine off, and it's just cutting down everything. And this produces so much. So I've only run it like once, I believe, and we're already up to almost half of the furnace array is filled up with bamboo. And then I have a little bit of extra storage, although this part is going to get refined later once we get auto crafters, because this is where I'll start to introduce the chest making and other stuff right there. And then after the auto crafters, we are going to have bulk storage for bamboo. But yeah, just sending it over again because as you can see, there's some bamboo that's like sitting on top of the shoots. And so you want to just knock those off and get them onto the ground. And actually, if we go over here, yeah, you can start to see some of the bamboo coming up and sliding along. And we'll probably fill up the majority of the furnace array again. And maybe even get some in bulk storage. But yeah, so this is just a classic flying machine design. The cool thing though is it's using an instantaneous minecart unloader, hopper minecart unloader, which is really cool. Now I have these running all the time because I don't really need to worry about performance. But if you're on a server, you can like either in front or right, like back here, instead of having a redstone block, you can have those powered manually with a button. Maybe the same time you activate the flying machine, have it turn on and stay on for like 10 seconds. But yeah, so how this works, I'm using Ilmango's design, is it starts with this observer that's on top of that's below an activator rail, and the activator rail is what, activates the observer when the minecart hovers over, and it starts to send this signal. So it will power this note block, which this observer, it's looking into this note block, will then pick up, and then it's going to activate this dropper and then this dispenser. And meanwhile, like after the minecart hits that detector rail and rides over the circuit, it's using this pretty cool system. I don't have a ladder here. Where this cauldron, and all the cauldrons, because there's a row of them, are filled with lava. And what it's doing is there's a rail right next to this cauldron on the other side, and the minecart is trying to go through that half slab and connect to the rail, but it's gonna fall into the cauldron of lava and break and get picked up by a hopper underneath it, and then by the time it hits the hopper, the signal from the observers have reached like this part, and it just gets dispensed again and goes on its journey. And let me see if I can show you the rail. Yeah, so these are the rails behind the cauldrons that it's trying to connect to, and it's very important that they're not connected, that they're facing out like straight ahead from this stuff, because I originally had a row of these where they were all connected and they just went down, and it didn't work at all. So it's very important you do that. And how you get the power rails not to connect in a straight line is you just have to do them 2 at a time, like this. And then you go back and break one of them, and there you have a row or a line of power rails that's not connected. But yeah, so that is it. And then I used wither skulls. You can do amethyst crystals, which I did farm some from. We have a really conveniently placed geode right there. So you can use the max size crystals as well. But I just thought it was cool to, use some wither skulls. But yeah, so let's see. Should be all done collecting. Where'd we get to? Yeah, so we just have a few more furnaces to pick up, and yeah, it's crazy. I can actually start to smelt a lot more of that sand now, and finish the perimeter of glass, which is very, very cool. But I'm so excited. This turned out great. I've never had a large bamboo farm like this, so kind of excited to abuse it. I'm not done decorating, because this is just a very basic furnace array. I don't know if I want to use the bamboo wood, that yellowed planks, to make it look better, or if I want to go more industrial, like factory-ish. I don't know. But plans have kind of changed down here as to what farms I'm going to be putting down. Because the bamboo farm's working great, I don't think I'm going to do a kelp farm anymore, because the original purpose of the kelp farm was to be a power source for my furnace array. And it seems the bamboo farm can easily do that and keep up with it, and also have plenty to autocraft afterwards. Because if I don't go on like a spree where I need to, oh, it's at the other end. If I don't go on a spree of smelting a lot of stuff, the bamboo in the furnaces are gonna, be filled, and then all the bamboo I get from this is just gonna go to the autocrafting. Okay, I did hit it. And so like I don't have to worry about filling these. It's only when I do a lot of smelting that I'm like, okay, not enough or not any bamboo is gonna reach the end where bulk storage or the auto crafters are, and I just have to be aware of that. So we're gonna see. I think I'll be fine. Cause the most I have to smelt is just the glass right now. Other than that, like maybe some copper for building, which I don't even have a lot of. So I'm not too worried. But my new plan, though, is to start bringing down a lot of these farms up here on the surface that is just taking up space out in the open, that just don't look good, and move them down there. That way we can kind of clean up this surface, and then the last thing will be this shulker monster, which I mentioned a lot, and I'm hoping to get to soon, because I think I've added a few more shulker boxes already, and it's just ugly. But yeah, I kind of want to clean up this surface. So, carrot, sugarcane, the wheat, and the brown dye. And I also added in a pumpkin farm over here. I had to find where I had like a nice straight line that I could grow some pumpkins. We have a pumpkin farm over there because I was using the lanterns for lighting. And, maybe even move the trees down. I don't know. It's getting pretty big. Oh, and the cactus farm. That's the big one. I'm honestly probably going to do that next, because I don't want to have to harvest these manually. It's kind of a pain. Because I don't think there's a tool. Like axe breaks that kind of fast. So does the hoe. So they don't have like a designated tool, I believe. So it's not like Instamine with like efficiency 5 in a haste beacon, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm gonna keep cracking on. All right, let's play a little game of Spot the Difference. Can you guys tell which farms I've gotten rid of up here and moved down to our little farming spot below the ground? Yeah, so I moved the pumpkin patch over there in the corner, and I've also cleaned up the cactus farm that we had right below us down there. I may have added some birch trees, but that's okay. Um, yeah, it's kind of funny. The pumpkin patch only lived for a day, but it was something I started to use a lot more, especially in the bamboo farm, as you guys have already seen. So I wanted to get kind of an automatic source for that going, and so this is what it looks like down here. Quite a few changes, but I'm gonna start with what's new on the bamboo farm. So I've added in a timer for this thing. Oh, did it just go? Oh no, I'm listening to the minecarts. Yeah, so I've added a hopper clock timer in the back, and it just kicked off. And I've also added a return mechanism down here at the other end by including a observer here in this corner, because this corner is the part of the flying machine that will it goes into this slit, and that observer just hooks up to the redstone line here, which will flick that trapdoor, and you guys are about to see it in action. If you just give it a second. Yep, there it goes. And the reason why I want this to do like a round trip in this is because sometimes, let me see if I can find an example. There are bamboo still on some of the lower shoots. Oh, right there. You guys can kind of see it in the center where my mouse cursor is. It's resting on top of the bamboo. So we need the flying machine to come back and kind of push it off into the ground so that the hopper minecarts can pick them up. And so it's important to do that. And this thing is producing plenty of bamboo. I haven't done too much smelting, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next update when we get auto crafters and like what we're gonna be able to do with them as we hook them up to the end there. But for now, it's really just gonna power this small like 20 furnace array, which should be more than enough fuel for it. And I'm gonna get to smelting more sand for glass and hopefully finish the perimeter. But yeah, so if we go over here, you guys can see the hopper clock I have going. Currently, it's, I think, maxed out completely. And it's a little bit too quick still for my, taste. But it's not too bad. The majority of these bamboo shoots will grow at least one block. Some of them sometimes grow 2 or 3. So it's not like we're wasting any bamboo, like, by not letting it grow in time. But I think it could benefit from letting it grow a little bit more and getting bigger waves of bamboo through this system, even if it's a little bit like fewer in the timing. But yeah, so added a simple minecart up here. This is like an exact copy of what I had above the surface, which is torn down now. Little minecart for dispensing. Oop, didn't mean to click that. But for dispensing items, I just put them up in this chest, and then I can flick this lever, and the minecart will just keep running back and forth for however long I need to. And then randomly, I can flick that off. And then everything that's smelted will come down in this chest, which is very nice and convenient. Any leftover bamboo goes over here, as you guys already know. And I've been crafting some blocks of bamboo, mainly for storage purposes, because these chests would already be completely filled with the bamboo shoots. And it looks like they already are getting filled again. So I'm going to have to do that. But not right now. All right, so let's talk about the cactus farm and the pumpkin farm. Because, I mean, this is cool. I don't think I've ever really built, like, automatic farms for these ever in Minecraft. I've always just gone out and harvested, like, when I need to. But I want to get into the mood of farming everything. Every little thing, too. Even if I don't need a lot of it, it's just, I think it's cool to build a farm and have, like, bulk storage for it. So the cactus farm has been producing quite a bit, and both of these farms go down to like the deep slate layer, so about this depth. And I believe the cactus farm has about 5 levels to it, 5 levels with 16 cactus on each level. So it's about 80 chances for a cactus, 80 spots where a cactus could grow and get knocked off by the fence, which honestly is plenty of cactus for me. This is already plenty of green dye for whatever I need. I'm not planning on using this for experience because we have the guardian farm, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm really happy with that. And as you guys can kind of see, I've used like green glass and green concrete to give it a theme a little bit, so it's not just like stone underground. And then I've used pumpkins for lighting in the floors. And then over here is going to be our pumpkin farm, which I did make orange concrete, but it is super bright. So I opted to go for brown with some brown glass. And yeah, this is basically what the farm looks like. It's pretty simple. It uses observers looking at the stalks of the pumpkin, and when it grows, the stalks are going to change because they'll connect to the pumpkin, which will activate the observer, which does activate both pistons on each side, but that's totally fine. It's not going to, damage efficiency too much or at all, I believe. But yeah, I have a pumpkin back here for lighting and then a pumpkin at the other end for lighting just to make sure that all floors are lit up properly. And if I go down here, I haven't really filled this in or covered it because I wanted to show you guys, but I think we have about 7 or 8 floors, I want to say, that all connect up to these chests up here. And if you look, I got quite a few pumpkins. So if I built this before the bamboo farm, I would have had plenty of pumpkins to light it up right away instead of having to like manually harvest all those by hand and like wait for that. But yeah, those are the 2 new additions, and I'm gonna be adding more. But I also got to start thinking about how we want to theme our place down here and how we want to make it look. And I've been experimenting a little bit with the new bamboo blocks because I haven't used them at all. This will be the first time. I'm kind of using a pattern of the bamboo slab and the mosaic slab, and kind of just doing like a random assortment of them. So you'll see that it kind of blends in really well together and breaks up the mosaic pattern, which I kind of like this. I don't know how I feel about the colors, because we're going with a light theme with the yellow of the bamboo. We got birch because I think those flow together, and then I'm hiding lighting under birch trap doors, and I like this, but I don't know. Like, I kind of had like an industrial idea for down here a little bit, and obviously these colors don't go with it, so I don't know what direction I'm gonna head in. Let me know if you guys like this in the comments, or if you have any other block palettes that might look well. But what I'm thinking of doing is, if I were to stick with these blocks, a nice brown in the ceiling would go well. And I experimented in a creative world with like the brown mushroom blocks. I don't want to use concrete because I used it for building, and I also want to give it a little bit of texture. So maybe one of the darker wood types would also go well. Oh, you know what? I was thinking the blue from the ocean monuments, but I don't think it would really go well with this yellow on the floor. So yeah, I'm gonna keep experimenting with that, and I'm also gonna keep bringing more farms down here to clean up that surface area, and also the storage area. I have a feeling it's probably gonna go somewhere in the center, maybe not right where the beacon is, but a little bit over here, because I did lower the beacon, and I'm going to hopefully move these chests as well. These are absolutely, there's a lot of stone and cobblestone in here and whatnot. So I want to get those cleaned up, but I do want to do like a border, maybe cover this with glass. But I didn't like having the beacon just right here in the way, because we'd have to run around it. And now after I put the floor in, we can just run across it and get to where we need to get to when we start adding farms in on that side. So yeah, I think that wraps it up though for the update. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one.